a little sneak preview of today's show. This is a mini lattice pie, and there's a little story that goes behind this, and I'll tell it to you now. 2 weeks ago, 2 neighborhood boys knocked at our door and presented us with some wonderful pastries, one of which I just showed you. And this all emanates from the way they watch their dad. And I just like to invite Aaron on the set, and he's going to be doing some of the food processing. And I really appreciate everything that you've done to introduce your boys to the art of baking.
Yeah, well, it's something that I enjoy doing, and I like spending time with my boys. So it's really kind of a nice thing to be able to spend some quality time and get something delicious out of it.
That's so true, and I have reaped the benefits along with my husband Merrill, anything from pizza to challah breads, and now we have the beginnings of the things your boys are going to be doing.
Yep.
So we're going to take off now and learn how this process is going to be completed. I'd like to introduce Ben, and he's going to be doing the lattice pie. And first he's going to work on an apple corer. Ben, I know you love working in the kitchen.
Yep.
And you are a student at the Galvin Middle School?
Yes.
What grade?
5th grade.
5th grade, and I bet you're a 10-year-older.
Yep.
Yeah, and you love doing this stuff. So I'm going to try to be a support and, hold the corer, because this is a big apple. And we use either the Max, the Cortlands, the Honeycrisp, and sometimes we even use green apples, okay? But go ahead. Let's see if you can do this one. It's a biggie. Good, and I'll hold the base. Awesome. Wonderful. And kudos to you, because you're using a new apple corer, which is the one that I have in the house, and he did, look at this, a terrific job. Look at that. Oops. We're going to slice it up anyway into chunks, but isn't that great? Wonderful. Okay, first step done. I'm just going to ask you one question, Ben. What are the names of these apples? Because I can see that they're 2 different colors.
Well, the more yellowish one is the Honeycrisp,
Okay.
hence the yellowish color, and the other one is the Cortland, a more
Okay.
white color.
Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to step back and let you show the folks what you do with the apples. So go ahead. I know.
Well, what I would do with these apples is I would cut them up into more of 12ths, cut them into 4ths first, and keep cutting till they're small enough to mix. And that should be good. After that, you want to put them in the bowl, mix them with the cinnamon sugar and a little bit of salt.
That was great, Ben.
Thank you.
And that was a good beginning. You use cinnamon and sugar, which would be 1/4 cup of sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Is that right?
Yes.
Which is your favorite apple?
Probably say Honeycrisp.
Really? Oh, I love
The
Honeycrisp.
sweet taste.
It has a sweet taste, but it's got a little bite to it too. I like that. This. Okay. And we're almost good to go. This. And you'll pop this in. And here, I'll have you sprinkle some more cinnamon and sugar. And that's good. I think I'd take a little bit more. Just, yeah, good. And pinch of salt, and you're ready with the mix. How's it look?
Looks good.
Very good. Okay. The first step is to make the pie dough, and that's just what Aaron's going to show you now.
Yep. It's a really quick and easy pie dough. So we're starting off with 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. We're going to add about 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 10 tablespoons of butter, cut into small pieces, nice and cold. You always want to keep your butter cold when you're making dough, pie dough. So, put the lid on, and we're gonna pulse it till it all kind of starts coming together into a paste. So this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna start clumping. And so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add another 1/2 cup of flour. And this way, all this makes the nice flaky pieces of the flour, and this is going to prevent all those flakes from clumping. We're just going to pulse it a couple of times to add it in. And so what you're going to have is you're going to have this kind of flaky dough. We'll add our water, about 2.5 tablespoons of water. Use a spatula to bring it all together. And if you find that the dough is too dry, you can add a little bit more water. So we're just kind of folding it all together until we get solid dough. And then slide the dough out onto the work surface. Work it into a 4 or 5 inch disc, and we'll wrap it up in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for 2 hours to chill. And that is the pie dough. I took one of the rounds that we made earlier, and I cut it into 5 pieces. So the 4 pieces for the individual pies, and the 5th piece is going to be the lattice top.
Wonderful. That
So
is so easy. So you really, when it comes out of the refrigerator,
it's really hard.
So you
gotta
really
let
have
it
to,
sit on
like,
the countertop for a minute or two, let it come up,
right?
and then we just add a little more flour on top so we don't stick, and it's just roll and turn, roll and turn.
I got you. From the middle out.
All right, so once we get our pie dough out to about 1/8 of an inch, you'll be able to see right there. So we're gonna take it and we're gonna put it into our mini pie tin. And you're just gonna wanna make sure that you get it all the way into all the little corners, so we can get as much filling in there as possible. All right, so next we're gonna work on the lattice for our pie crust. So this one, instead of rolling it into a circle, we're gonna roll it into a long rectangle. And we're gonna want it to be about 4 inches wide, or however wide your pie tin is. and as long as we can make it. So that's about right. So we're just gonna roll it in, tuck it in to even it out, and that. So now we're gonna cut the strips. And they're just gonna be about 1/2 inch wide. Not too wide, but enough so that they're easy to handle. All right, that's it.
Okay, Ben, show me the next step.
Well, next what we're going to do is beat the egg
Okay.
with a fork, most likely preferred,
And we use the egg for
like an egg wash
I hear you.
in the pan
Okay.
for the pie, so the apples
That
don't.
looks good. All right, so I'll take this and move it aside so that you can get ready to fill it. All right, so let's switch.
Still need to do
There, I'll just put it right there and go ahead, you're ready. Oh, you want to put some egg wash
No, you did.
inside too? Oh, okay, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Yep,
Make sure it's not too thick.
sure, I'm learning from you too. That's awesome.
And if you don't get enough, be sure to get the sides
Uh-huh,
and the inside. That should be good.
okay, fine. Now you want the apples.
Yes.
Okay.
Next, we're going to take a spoon, normally adult size, and scoop the apples into pie.
I can see you put a lot of good sugar and cinnamon on your apples.
Yes.
Yeah, they look good.
Make sure to mound it up slightly
Sure.
so the lid or the covering won't fall off.
Good, good. All right, we're good for that. Now we have those strips that Dad cut. So how many strips do you use?
Normally I would do 4 to 6.
Okay, go ahead.
So on this we'll do a 6 since you know why not.
You have it down, a good system, wonderful. Lattice is so nice because you can see the inside, you can see some of the apples. It's a pretty design.
Yeah.
Good job.
You want to make sure to lift up that last one so you can put in the other one.
Sure, okay.
Fits. And last, we're going to take our egg wash again and lightly coat the lattice. Make sure not to do it too hard, like I just did, so it doesn't fall off.
But the chef in the kitchen can make mistakes, it's okay.
Yes.
And when you're through with this, you're going to be crimping up the
Sides, yes.
sides. Oh, you're doing a wonderful egg wash.
Make sure to get the edge.
Yeah, it's a pleasure
You
to
have any
watch
extra?
how you're taking your time. You did it very nicely. And now you're going to crimp it. Show the folks how you crimp it. That means you like wrap it forward.
Well, there's 2 ways that I know of that you can do this.
Okay.
You can take a fork and just lightly push down on the edges,
Right,
or you can do a wavy design.
the fold up.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that because it keeps everything in. And then we can do another one if you want to use a fork, but I like this. Nice
Now we're done
job.
with crimping. We will fill in the rest of the pies and put into our oven.
Alright, ready for the last?
Okay, so we have 4 beautiful lattice mini apple pies. And they're going to go into a 425-degree oven for how long? Maybe 15 minutes. Okay, so about 15 minutes. You ought to watch it because naturally you have to add an egg wash, and you want to make sure it's nice and brown and crisp. And then we have the baker's hands that know just how to crimp up each of the mini pies. Perfect. Okay, now Ben will do the egg wash. Nice. You use the brush just like it's an artist's brush, Ben. Nice job.
Thank you.
I can see you enjoy baking.
Yes, I do very much.
What else do you like to bake?
Cookies, brownies, all sorts of different pastries.
Really?
I've made cinnamon rolls.
Oh, I love them. That's okay. I can see you have a very delicate touch. Nice. Ben, go ahead. Put her in the top rack. And you can shut the oven. Wonderful. Here we have beautiful mini apple pies. And Ben, come on over. And we'll lay them very carefully. How's it look?
Amazing.
And you accomplished. Slap it there. Nice job. So Ben, what do you think?
They look amazing.
I know. And that's because you took the time to make them. And they are very special. So I think we ought to dig in.
Yes.
And what do you like best on your pie? Whipped cream, ice cream? What do you like?
Normally I choose the ice cream.
Go right ahead. I'll take a little bit of whipped cream. That's sort of my favorite. And let's dig in. Okay? Gee, they have a nice brown tone to them. They're well baked.
And you smell delicious.
Yeah, and so I'm going to, if you need to, I have a knife here that cuts them very easily.
Crunchy.
Yup. then it was a pleasure having you on the show. And I actually look forward to more wonderful treats that you're going to have at our door. Both Mr. Mez and I really appreciate your baking skills.
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been a delight.
Yes.
Okay, now I have the oldest son, Jacob, here. Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
And Jacob is an 8th grader
Mm-hmm.
at the Galvin. So that makes you about
13.
13 years old. And you too love to bake and cook.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing today?
Well, I'm making a half batch of pound cake.
Okay, so why don't I let Jacob show you the steps? Go ahead.
Alright, so we're going to start by mixing together the butter and a cup of sugar. Alright, so we're going to mix the sugar and butter together until it's very well creamed. The butter and sugar is done creaming, and I'd say that looks pretty good. So we're gonna scrape off the mixer, and now we're gonna add our flour. There we go. We'll mix that together. Alright, so now we're gonna be adding 1 egg at a time. One, and then we're gonna mix it in. Alright, and now we're gonna add the next egg. And mix that in on low. We're going to add the salt, half a teaspoon, vanilla, also half a teaspoon, and lemon juice, half a tablespoon. Now we're going to mix all that together. So now that we're done mixing, we're going to add the batter to our 4x8 pan. So now that we've put the baked batter in the pan, I'm going to spread it, make sure it's nice and even. Make sure you get it into all the corners. I think we're done spreading. Alright, now we're gonna put this thing in the oven at 325 for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Jacob, that was a wonderful job, and here's the results. A beautiful pound cake. And before we dig in, I wanted to find out what other things you like to do at school. I mean, he's very active.
Well, I mean, I love playing football.
Okay.
I like to sing. And my favorite subject in school would probably be math.
Awesome. So he's very diverse, has a lot of interests, and you love to bake.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Now I just want to show the folks at home that if you want to decorate a pound cake in the corners, you have a fan-shaped strawberry. And this is a quick way to show you with a little thin knife. You take and make slivers right along a good-sized strawberry. And then you just pick it up and very gently spread it with the tips of your fingers. And there you have a lovely strawberry fan. But I'm going to, at this time, take a pound cake and serve you a piece and me a piece. And it really has been a pleasure having you on the show. I can see how you're very sure of yourself. Would you like some whipped cream?
Sure.
Okay. And would you like a strawberry?
No thanks.
Okay. And so what are some of the other things that you like to bake?
Well, a couple of things I like to bake are, I like to bake cookies, of course. I'll occasionally make like brownies or a cake.
The standard, yeah, the standard.
And on top of baking, I also sometimes cook with my dad.
Awesome, I know, and we've had your dad and your brother on early on. And this is a wonderful sampling. Once the cake has cooled, I learned from Jacob that coating the top part with confectioner sugar just finishes it off. A napkin underneath, it makes for less of a mess. And here's the finished product. Jacob's pound cake, and it's been a pleasure having you on the show too. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hope you try their wonderful treats.